Today is the day. I'm going to be taking my 7700K out. Got all my stuff here, liquid ultra and all that stuff. Got my Delid tool, everything's ready to go. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to have to touch it. Well, let's see how this goes. There's the CPU. The kraken here. Just let it hang out, it's fine. Not too bad under there. Alright, I'm going to pull this chip out, clean it up. I mean, if I mess up, it was only a $350 chip. I mean, that's all, you know. I mean, that's probably like what? I mean, I'll just be without a computer for a while. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. No big deal. Anyways. Okay, so I got the top of the CPU cleaned up. Got it in the delidder. Same with the kraken here. Got it all cleaned up. So now I'm going to pop this off, and hopefully everything will be good. Alright, let's do this. Let's record this moment here. It's building some tension. It's getting scary. Oh. That was weird. I guess it gave up. Yep, it's pushing the lid now. I tightened it down. When I got scared, it just, I let off and let it hang, and it just popped on its own. Kind of funny. Check out this chip here. Come on, camera. There we go. Wow, that was complete shit. Wow. This thermal paste is complete boo-boo. Okay, well. I thought it might not be so bad, but no, it's kind of some cheap boo-boo in here. So, alright, well. I'm going to clean these up, and I'm going to put some liquid ultra in there. Clean this up here real good. Be back. Alright. Got the lid there, and the diode there. Now I'm going to get these together. Okay. So I just got it all back together there. I didn't let anything cure, really. I did decide against silicone. I had some, but it was dried up because the lid was cracked. So instead of doing all the silicone there, and I don't want to wait on this, I just put the 4 dabs of the glue that came with the liquid ultra that I ordered, the kit that I ordered, and put it back together. I let the glue sit for a few minutes, and then you know, tightened it down with the Relid tool and everything, and now I got my chip in here, and the motherboard is also holding the lid together, and I'm actually okay with that because I mean, I'm not really planning on taking this chip in and out, and since there's not going to be any gasket in there, there's going to be no room for gaps to be made or anything like that. So I'm going to test this out, and if it becomes a failure, then you'll learn from my mistake and stick with the gasket or whatever, but you don't have to do that, I don't think. So I'm going to do it anyways, like this. I'm going to clean my chip up, and now I'm going to add some more liquid ultra on the top here. And a lot of people use other stuff, you know, thermal paste, like, you know, and I have Arctic Silver and all that stuff here, but the way I'm imagining it is, why would I change the thermal compound from the diode, you know? I mean, if it's the same compound from the diode all the way to the AIO or whatever you're using, I would imagine that it would cool more efficiently. It wouldn't go from one, type of paste to another. So I'm going to do liquid metal here, and hopefully I don't suffer any consequences. I mean, it seems to be safe on copper for liquid ultra, so I believe that's what my AIO is copper. And I hope that it is not aluminum, because it does look copper. So I hope to God that I'm right. But anyways, I'll find out. And I'm going to start getting my bench results in, and hopefully I'll be happy with my temps. It's recommended that you let it cure for 24 hours for best results. But I'm just impatient. I can't wait. I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to get some ultra on that, get that going, and then go from there. Okay. So there's my liquid ultra on the CPU there. And I did it with it locked down in there, so it wasn't, took me a minute to get it all the way I liked it. And I had a little extra, so I made a small circular patch on here, kind of like the way this came when I bought it. And it may be too much, maybe overkill, I don't know. I'll see when I boot it up. If everything's good, then I'm going to leave it alone and let you know how the results turned out doing it this way. But hopefully I don't have to mess with it again. Hopefully I don't have any consequences for doing it this way. I don't think I will, but we'll find out. Alright, so I got it all back together. And I'm going to zip tie my stuff out of the way back again and hook it all up in the computer room again, and hopefully it will post and we can see if this made any big difference. So let's find out. Hey guys, back here in the computer room. It is now 3:20 in the morning. I've been messing with my computer all day and figuring stuff out and running to the store for screws. So I'm going to share with you guys some crap that I went through, and so you guys can learn from my mistakes and have an easier time installing your stuff in your system. Alright, now as you know, I installed the liquid ultra on the diode. Everything as far as inside the chip that I did underneath the lid of the CPU, the IHS, has been fine, and all that's good. But I kept my computer would start randomly turning on and off while I was running all these benchmarks, because I was stressing the crap out of it since I had all this liquid ultra in there. And my computer was being sporadic with on and off and different voltage. I was changing voltages. I thought maybe I was clocking it too hard or something, but that wasn't really the case. And I kept taking my kraken off there, on and off, on and off, on and off, and checking it, and it looked like everything was good. Put it back. It would do a couple benchmarks, and then like maybe at a random time it would crash. And so anyways, after doing all these benchmarks and stuff, I also noticed that the liquid ultra also did stain the bottom of my copper on the kraken. And I also noticed that since the base of the kraken is circular, it was touching some of the that little clamp that you fold down over the CPU. It was touching that clamp with some liquid ultra on it and causing a problem. And just to be safe, I took the liquid ultra off the top of the CPU, just the top of it, and put some Arctic silver, and I polished up the copper back so it looked nice and everything. And I put it back on, and I booted up my computer. Now, when I was having that issue where it was turning off because it was touching other stuff, at least I think that's why it was doing that. But anyways, back to my story. When I was having that issue, I was getting good temp still. I just, was having the random shutdowns and stuff, or random crashes, and I wasn't sure if that was my overclock or what it was, but anyways, I figured I'd fix that by just putting basic thermal paste on there to test it out, and then possibly putting Liquid Ultra back later. Now, something I did not expect was I booted up my computer, and just loading into Windows, I was hitting 90C. And I was really confused, and I was thinking I was going to have to redo the whole thing, relid and delid all over again. And that's not what happened. What happened was, since I'm not using any of the gasket stuff or any of that junk in the under the CPU lid, as you know, I just decided to use the glue on the corners. It caused a gap. So the screws that came with the Kraken are now too long, and it was making a gap. And I figured this out by pushing on the Kraken. I was holding it down while Windows was running, and my temps were dropping back down to normal. And that's when I realized that there's space in there now. So I don't really understand how it made so much of a difference. But anyways, I just decided not to question it. And if you look in there, well, maybe you can see how I got washers on there. See that now? What I ended up doing was I got a washer instead of the thumb screws. And the thumb screws would have worked, but I ended up breaking one of those, what are they called? A little screw in there. Can't remember the name of it. But anyways, so I had to use some AMD screws in there and some washers. But what I ended up having to do was come back here, and on my plate, you can't really see, well, you can kind of see on this one here, I had to put a rubber washer in there. I wanted to use nylon, but what I had to do was just find a rubber one at Walmart and make a spacer basically back here to take some slack away on all four of them. And if you guys are in the same situation where you need some kind of nylon or rubber spacer, what you can do is you can go to Walmart, and right next to the aisle in the hardware section where they sell the screws, there's a plumbing aisle where they sell stuff for toilets, and you can get a kit of rubber rings for $3, and it has just a whole different set of them. And I bought that and just made that work, and got some, some lugs there, some little nuts, and now it's super tight. And my Relid Delid came out great inside the CPU first try, but I had a big learning curve when I got past that, because first of all, the Kraken is circular, and that caused a lot of problems for me. And then second, the gap from not using the silicone back in there that I created. But I mean, you don't want the gap because you're going to get better temps, but I didn't realize it was going to affect me like this. So anyways, I got it all running good now, and I'm very happy with it. And now that I realize all this stuff, if I want, I can go back in there and apply Liquid Ultra on the top of the CPU to just the CPU, and don't, even bother messing with the Kraken because it's circular, because it'll touch other stuff and possibly get better gains that way. But I'm also concerned by the stain that I noticed it left on my kraken there and my CPU lid. It kind of made them look, I don't know, discolored. And I guess since it was still early in the phase, I was able to scrub on it pretty hard with some alcohol and got it clean again. But yeah, so just something that could save you guys a shit ton of time if you are doing this and you have a kraken or something, or maybe you were thinking like I was thinking, oh, Liquid Ultra and on top of more Liquid Ultra would be fantastic. Well, you know, if you look up online and you try to find out is Liquid Ultra safe, you'll hear that Liquid Pro is kind of dangerous, but everyone really says Liquid Ultra is fine, and it even says Liquid Ultra is okay on copper online. So it became one of those things where since nobody really had an answer, I just had to test it out. But it did discolor the kraken and the top of the CPU, and it could have been just because it was touching other crap in there that was metal, or maybe it was just a reaction and it was just going to make it look a little discolored, and that's it. As far as performance, it didn't do any damage. And honestly, even though it had such a bad gap in there, the Liquid Ultra was performing so good, I didn't know I had that problem, and I was looking at other things. But when I put basic paste in there, the gap became very obvious really fast because the temps were just so outrageous. So now I'm really curious if I go back again and put the Liquid Ultra on the top, what kind of numbers I'm going to get, because right now the numbers I'm getting, since I have it all perfect, are fantastic, and I don't need to change nothing. And let me show you that now. This is my stuff here. Let me get League of Legends out of the way here. Now I can use my fancy, split screen or XSplit and record this and all that stuff, but I don't want XSplit slowing down and everything, just lagging my computer down, because I'm going to show you everything that's going on right here with my phone. It's been a really long day, and I just want this to be as simple as possible. My phone would die right as I'm talking about make it short. Okay, so here we are. Really sorry for the crappy quality, but if I try to record this with XSplit while I'm stressing the crap out of my computer, it's just not going to happen. But you can see my multiplier is set to 50, my cache ratio is 45, and the AVX ratio is 0. And everything is set to unlimited. And my core voltage, if you're curious, is set to auto right now, which if y'all know, if you're familiar with overclocking and you leaving that setting on auto, then you know that the motherboard's going to auto clock the voltage pretty high. So that's pretty fantastic, because I'm getting amazing temps. And I can only imagine what I can get if I go in there and tune it out some more myself. I have some of the basic stuff done in BIOS also, like power line voltage is like 5, and I have my RAM and everything set. So that's that, 5 gigahertz, 5G. This is terrible camera quality. I hate to post this kind of quality, but it's the best way because I don't have a capture card. Please, camera, work with me. There we go. So, there's the stuff, the good stuff. Nice and big 30C there at idle. It'll drop to 29 once in a while. That's not it. Let's go to... where are you? Okay, so now we have CPU Z open here. So you can re-evaluate my settings again. See, still 5. All that stuff. I don't know why it doesn't read core voltage now, but I also have some stuff turned off that reads core voltage that ASUS suggests for overclocking. So that might be why, or maybe the software just isn't current. I don't know, but I have a feeling it's probably that BIOS setting that might have something to do with it. Anyways, getting straight off here. DDR4 dual channel, 32 gigs. The DRAM frequency, 1500 megahertz. You take this number and you double it. So I have my RAM clocked at 3000. So DDR4 3000. Okay. So now that we got the 5 gigahertz, no offset or any of that junk, I'm going to show you something pretty cool here. I'm going to run Cinebench 11.5 and Cinebench R15 at the same time. (64-bit). Okay, I'm gonna click and run R15, and then I'm gonna click and run the 11, and then I'm also gonna open up cam here. Let's see if I can now put those side by side. Well, close enough. And I'll put cam somewhere down here. Alright. So here we go. Run that one. Cam open. And the real thing to focus on is cam down there. You can see 61, 62, 63. This isn't about benchmarks because I'm running two at the same time. It's just going to be a really crippled score anyways. But the point I'm trying to make is the temps at 5 gigahertz are so good that, I mean, I'm very happy that I did this. So, and I can run these back to back to back to back, and it'll hover around 64. So, if you're going to ask me if it was worth it or not, depends on how extreme you like to overclock your computer. I really enjoy crunching numbers for some reason. I love the tune, and this is my favorite part. So, yeah, to me this is awesome. And to know that I can still go in there and change the Arctic Silver out now that I have more experience for more Liquid Ultra, and do it better the next time. I'm excited for that too. I know that I'd probably get probably another 6 or 8 C taken off of that 64, and I mean, just imagine that. So that'd be pretty awesome. That means I wouldn't even hit the 60s, and I could be doing this. No, I don't want to save my scores. But yeah, this is totally worth if you don't mind doing this kind of stuff. I can tell you that this was my first time delidding and relidding, and delidding it and applying the Liquid Ultra on the diode was very easy. It didn't give me any problems. You don't have to use a silicone. You can use glue. It's just fine. You don't even have to use glue. You can just rest it in the motherboard tray if you'd like to. You don't have to use anything at all. you could just do it that way, and it'll come out great. And it was totally worth. So, yeah, it's totally worth doing this. I mean, I've seen a Linus Tech Tips video where they talk about it, and it was just like saying you only got a degree of like 6 to 8 degree difference, and that's just not true. My chip used to run up to 98 degrees, or 98C, and now it only hits 64C. So, I mean, you figure that out yourself. This is a must for an enthusiast. So, yeah, if you like to overclock like I do, then for sure, this is the way to do it. And I'm very sure that I could go back in there now and add some more Liquid Ultra to the AIO and get rid of that Arctic Silver and get even better results. I'm not going to do that because I've been messing with the computer all freaking day trying to get this stuff going and figure out what I did wrong and all this stuff, trial and error. So you guys learn from my mistakes, okay? Something else I wanted to show you guys. Oh yeah, real bench. In case someone for some reason doesn't like Cinebench, here's a real bench by Asus. So it's going to push their own hardware. I don't have OpenCL, so I'm going to uncheck that. And start. And hopefully I don't touch anything. You can see there the temps right now. They're going to ramp up some more because right now they're just going through imaging. I know I'm recording on my stupid phone here, but I don't want to alter the results or have like a bunch of glitchy video footage that's crystal clear but still glitchy. I'd rather it be crappy quality and fluid. But right now it's doing all the CPU hammering, and you can see the temps there are fantastic. And again, I can go back in the BIOS and tune the voltage down manually, a couple of notches, and get some more reduced temperature that way. The only thing is when you let the BIOS do it, you get a much more stable result. So it's kind of a hit or miss on that. Benchmark's almost done. Oh, bench is done. Let's see what we got here. Temps. So we hit a very, very peak max for a very small millisecond of 65. That was it. I mean, come on. It's fantastic. Well, there you have it, everybody. I just wanted to throw this in because I know that my camera on my phone is not so awesome, but it got the job done, and was able to show you guys what you can expect from doing a delid and a relid and what kind of results you could see if you're like me and you want to really push your CPU, but you really don't like those temps being too high. Because, I mean, what fun is it if you get a really good tune in and your temps are so high you really can't leave it on? You know, you have to be like, oh, that was cool for like 30 minutes, but realistically, you know, default your stuff back down or whatever, and then you go back to your games and stuff, and then you're just like, man, that would be so cool, you know, if I could keep those temps down. But you can. You can. You just got to be willing to open up your CPU. And I mean, for me, that's what this whole thing is about: is modding stuff and moving stuff and building stuff. And if you're going to do that, then you should go all the way. And I'm not scared about delidding and relidding anymore now that I've done it. It's really, the CPUs are not, I mean, treat them like a child. They're very fragile, but they're not as fragile as you think. So definitely go try it out. It's great. Best results for temps ever. And you know, just remember my scenario. Maybe it'll help you if you for some reason have a Kraken and an Asus board. Definitely check that you don't have any kind of gap from the screws or anything. And that bracket on the back that's weird that goes in the back of the board is what was causing it, most of my problem there, because it has a little leeway there the way it goes in. But everybody's got different boards, everybody's got different coolers, so just be cautious of that. And keep in mind, I can still throw my voltage down some more and reapply Liquid Ultra to the top of the CPU, and make it all Liquid Ultra, and probably get a couple more degrees off. So yeah, that's that. There you have it. There's results. Hopefully you learned something from this video. I know I did. I learned a lot today, and I've been up doing this all day while, you know, I only took a small break to like eat some dinner and get back to figuring out how to tune my PC and what was going on with it. And you know, getting tools and looking for screws and running to Walmart and all that stuff. It's annoying, you know. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Liquid Ultra comes with all the stuff you need, even an alcohol pad. And if you for some reason dry yours up, I just used regular alcohol. They gave me a pack that had 70% alcohol, and I had some 50% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol sitting in my cabinet. I just cleaned my stuff with that when I ran out, and it worked out great. Everything worked out. Blah blah blah. You guys know. There's plenty of videos on how to delid and relid, so I wasn't really focused on that. I just really wanted to share my experience and my numbers and what I learned. So there you have it. I'm not going to show you guys an 8-hour benchmark, but I'll show you guys what I showed you. I mean, so take it for what it is. Point is, my computer's running much cooler, and I could overclock to 5.2, but it's just not stable. I mean, I can overclock 5.2 at, I think I put it at 1.45 volts earlier today, but that was when I still had some looseness going on with the cooler, so maybe I could run at 5.2. I'd have to go back and see. But right now, I mean, honestly, I don't want to keep 1.45 volts anyways, so I'm just going to leave it as is, because honestly, I just wanted to hit 5 even. There's just something about that, you know. 5 gigahertz even. And my cache ratio is multiplier is set at 45. And the reason that is because I read somewhere that it should be within 500 megahertz of your CPU's total overclock. So 5 gigahertz, then take 500 off, 445. So that's how I did it. I've seen people get up to 4.7. I could probably go higher on mine, but again, it's just like unnecessary. Like, I don't care about 5.2 and I don't care about 47 on the cache. I'd rather just have a good, solid, stable 5.0, 45, and decent voltage and low temps, and then just go smash some frames on some games. So there you have it. That's my input for the day. It's been a long day, so I'm going to head out of here. I know this video is very long, but if someone's interested in this stuff, it's going to be interesting for them to hear what I have to say. So, anyways, guys, I know I'm rambling, but it is just now hitting 4 a.m., so I'm going to head out of here, and yeah, I'm going to cut it off, because I could talk forever. Okay, bye. Boop. Oh yeah. Please sub. Don't forget about me.